Let me know. Oh, what you got, Lisa? What's going on?
Yeah. I have been studying quite a few things and looking back through some of the education. And I noticed in the Forex technicals, a lot of the great charts you have there.
Hmm.
And we talk about supply and demand, or support and resistance, really. But some of these concepts look like more ICT and I'll call them smart money concepts. Do you teach that as well? Or is that just in there for other purposes? Or
To be honest, no, I don't teach it in that fashion, right? Like
yeah,
I don't label everything the way you would hear the terms and acronyms for smart money concepts.
right.
But it's the reason why is because I've noticed again over time, right? Because at some point, just like you're doing right now, everybody's going to be learning all of these different concepts. You know what I mean? In regards
Sure.
to trading, and at some point, you're going to drop more than half of the ones that you've learned. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because they they all they you can't play them all at the same time because they become overwhelming. And then you also realize that you're not sticking to one, so your results are always varying. You
Gotcha.
get me? So I'm saying all that to say that the reason why I don't teach in that smart money concept sort of concept or way is that I've noticed that what I already teach about, which is just pretty basic, right? Where I don't want to have everyone remembering 1,000 acronyms and different terms that really mean something simple in the grand scheme of things, is because what I do teach, it encompasses all of that anyway, right? So what you'll learn is that you've learned about smart money concepts, and then you go learn about supply and I'm sorry, support and resistance, and then supply and demand. And then as you're going through trying to pick out the differences between them, you start to see that they're more all the same. Do you understand what I'm saying? They
Hmm.
seem similar, right? Maybe the actual entry point may be a little different, right? Maybe um the um the area of where the smart money is may be maybe determined by just a slight difference of an indicator or a move or a candle or a pattern, right? It's not so different that you're like, okay, this concept is way better than that concept. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just when you are trying to learn them all at one time, you're thinking that one is probably better than the other, and you're trying to figure out which one that is. But at the end of the road, you come to realize that, oh man, they're all like brothers and sisters, right? You know what I mean? There's no real major difference between the two. Between however many, it's just you have spent a good amount of time trying to figure that out. So if you had just stuck to one thing, right, one concept,
Yeah.
and you work that completely, throughout your trading journey, give it whatever amount of time that you need to, you start to see, okay, this works or this doesn't work. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And then if it doesn't, you skip on to the next, and you rinse and repeat the process. But when you try to do this one and then that one and then this one and then that one, it becomes way too much. I promise you, you will waste a ton of time just trying to pick who's the best. And
Gotcha.
just to find out, oh man, I could have used any one of them. I just needed to stick to one and go with it. So
Gotcha. Okay.
so
Thank
yeah,
you.
no worries, guys. I put up some questions for you guys in the poll, so hopefully you guys can see it. If you've already answered them, great. If you have not, go and take a look at where the polls are. Okay, I do see a few of you guys have answered already, but go ahead and check out the polls. There's about I think 5 or 6 questions or so that I would really like for you guys to answer. And again, we're just going to give everybody a little bit, a few more moments to hop in, and then we'll get started with the lesson. But I want to know those answers to those questions.
Where do you find the polls at, Coach?
Honestly, it seems like it varies depending on your phone, or if you're on the computer or what have you. So if you're on the computer, it should just come up like near the chat section. It may be next to the chat section. Like you might see a triangle, circle, and a square. But if you're on your phone, I think you have to swipe over if you're on iPhone. And on Android, I think you might have to swipe up. Again, don't quote me on these. You're gonna have to kind of figure it out because it seems to vary sometimes.
Okay, I found it.
Well, what did you have to do?
I'm on the computer. It's a triangle, circle, and a square.
Okay, perfect.
Appreciate it.
No worries. So far, you guys are on it with those polls. I actually like what I'm saying for the last question, but so far you guys are hitting these on the head, which is great. All right, are you guys able to see my screen or not yet?
We can see it.
Okay, perfect. And again, just let me get one more person. Can you guys see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect, guys. And again, if you haven't answered the poll question, guys, go ahead and do it. And we're almost at the time where we'll get started. All right, guys, let's rock and roll. All right, so we're gonna go through those questions first. All right, question number one: what is the first step to looking for a trade? And you guys all got that correct. So I'm happy to see that. All right, because that typically is the hardest part, right? Everybody learns something about forex and trading, but then when it's time for them to trade, they don't really know that first step, or they get into pulling up the chart and they just kind of go off of what they feel. Hey, how do I feel today, right? I feel bad, I'm gonna sell. I feel good, I'm gonna buy. Right? That's not how to go about that. So I'm glad you guys have all chose find the overall trend, because that is the very, very first step. If you don't know the trend, then you don't know what kind of trades you should be looking for. So great job with that, guys. Number two, what is a break of market structure? All right. So I thought I might get you guys with this, but nope, I didn't get you guys. All right. You got this one right as well. Right. So being able to identify market structure first is how you can tell when there is a break of market structure. Okay. So knowing that you're making higher highs and higher lows, but then you go to making lower lows and lower highs, that's where you have your break of structure. So good job again with that one. Now, number three, what areas do we look to buy from? All right. You guys all got that right. It is support. All right. So again, you've already determined the trend. You realize it's an uptrend, and now you know that you need to be looking for buys. But where do you buy from? What areas do you buy from? It is the support area. So again, knowing that is again keeping you aligned with the trend and the high probability of it working out in your favor. All right. Number four, what areas do we look to sell from? Now, somebody said support. Who said support? Because that is wrong.
It
Okay.
was me, Bain. I clicked the wrong one. As you see, I got the one before it correct. So I
Okay.
accidentally clicked the wrong one on the
Oh,
next question. So
okay,
I knew what
cool.
the answer was, obviously, but I just chose it wrong. So that was me, my bad.
No, it's all good. Again, this is up here for a reason, because I want to see, right? Are you guys learning? Are you guys understanding? Do you guys get it? Is there something that, is something simple that you should know, but for whatever reason, it's not turning on, right? You know what I mean? So that's what this exercise was all about. But if you were that individual who said support, I need to find out why you said it, right? I need to find out, why do you believe that it's best to sell from those areas? Because you may have a point. Do you understand what I'm saying? But at the same time, you do need to know, what are the better areas, right, to sell or to look for a sell from. It's not, again, plenty of times, guys, the market doesn't do what you expect, in case you guys haven't, figured that out yet, right? You know what I mean? So there are times where you're at a support level, and then price breaks through that support level, right? And you could absolutely sell from that support level. Do you understand what I'm saying? But it's depending on the structure that you see of the market and other little factors. What's going on in the news? Other little things, if you're looking at the sentiment of a particular pair, or what you see people posting on TradingView, et cetera, right? All of those things are factors, and those things can drive that pair to break support and fall to the floor, right? So selling from support is still an option, right? It's still a possibility, something that you can do, but is that the best, right? Is that the best thing for you, right? You know what I'm saying? Like we could, we can go to a nice smoothie shop, right? And we can get a smoothie that's pressed in a machine and all of this stuff. But is it better than just eating the fruit, right? You know what I mean? Something has to be a better scenario, right? And just knowing what that is always going to help you, right? It doesn't mean you have to take the best scenario. You know what I mean? Because we've in life, guys, you got I'm not going to talk your head off, but certain things in life that we kind of shortcut to some degree, and we're still okay, right? We can still maintain or manage or get it done or what have you, right? But there was a better way you could have gone about doing it. Do you understand what I'm saying? And still had like better results. Okay, so that's what that's all about. But no worries on that whatsoever, John. Next one. When is the best time to trade? So again, wanted to kind of get you guys on that one, right? I was wondering to see who was going to say anytime, because as much as that sounds good, it's not right, right? You know what I mean? Because if you go ahead and trade like 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, that's definitely not the best time. 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, that's definitely not the best time, right? You get caught in so much resetting of the market because the sessions are switching over, right? So you're taking a time, or you're trading at a time where things aren't really ideal. You understand what I'm saying? It's almost like going to the beach when it's cold, right? Yeah, you can go to the beach at any time, right? But do you want to go when it's cold, right? It's just those kind of things. So good job with this one as well, guys, because London and New York are the best times to trade. All right, now here's the one that I was waiting for, right? Which part of trading is the hardest to you? And it looks like the majority of you guys have an issue with over leveraging. All right, now that really comes to as no surprise to me, okay? Because the way that I got into Forex, and most people get into Forex, is because we hear about the money that can be made. All right, so when we get in, we're trying to make that money, right? We don't know about, oh man, we're over leveraging. We don't know about that. right? We don't even know how to count pips. We just know, hey, this is what we got to press to get into a trade, and this is the number I have to put in so I can make thousands and thousands of dollars, right? That's what we know. So that's how we approach it, right? We get in, we get our broker going. We say, oh, this broker gives leverage of 1 to 1,000. Oh, perfect, yes, right? So now I can get into a standard lot on something. You know, only got $50 in my account, and then the trade goes against you 1 pip, your account is blown, and you're like, what the hell just happened, right? So this one is a tattletale sign of where a lot of traders struggle, right? And let me put this on top of that struggle, is that it's not that you're wrong. Do you understand me? Right? So you guys may be getting that sense of, oh man, I just can't do this, and this is too much, it's too hard, I'm always losing. You're not losing, you're just over leveraging. All right, you got to take a moment and really think about that for a second, right? You're not losing, you're just over leveraging. So you don't get the opportunity to have the trade play out in your favor because there was a margin call, because your broker closed your trades because they were going against you too much, and you didn't have enough money to get into any other trade. So they took the liberty of closing out your trade on your behalf to say, hey, we're saving you from blowing all of the money in your account. So you should thank us, for doing that, even though the trade did not hit your stop loss. Do you understand? Again, it's one of those things that you may learn pretty quickly if you are one of those individuals who over leverage constantly, right? You'll start seeing, oh man, the trade went in my favor, but I still lost the trade. What's up? You call your broker up, you chat with them, and then they'll tell you, oh yeah, you had a margin call. What the hell is a margin call? Well, a margin call is when you don't have enough money in your account to get into any trade. Okay, so because they can determine that by your balance, because of your one trade that's losing, right? So let's just say you got $100 in your account and you're down $95 on the actual trade. Well, you can't get into any trade on any pair with just $5 in your account, even if with whatever amount of leverage you might happen to have. They just know the numbers and they know you can't get into any other trade. So they're like, you know what? Instead of your account hitting, instead of your trade going against you more and your account going to zero, we're going to save you $5, right? We're just going to close it at $95, and then you got $5 that if you want to take it out, go ahead and take it out, right? But that's what that is. Wayne, thank you for joining. Go ahead and look for the poll. There's some poll. There's about 6 questions that I would like for you to answer. So if you're on a computer, just click on the triangle, the square, and the circle. But if you're on the phone, I'm not quite sure how to tell you how to find it. Just do some swiping left, up, down, right, and you may find it. And then when you do find it, let me know what you did to find it, so that I can know for the future. But yeah, guys, that over leveraging is huge. All right, so we're going to touch on that right out the gate, so that you guys can get away from over leveraging, because you're doing yourself a disservice just by taking out more than you can chew when the trade it goes in your favor. It's you're winning the direction, but you're losing the trade, and that hurts, guys. I don't know how many of you have experienced it and how often, but if you're anything like me, especially in the beginning, of seeing that, man, the trade went in my favor, so why didn't I should be rich right now, right? I took out that standard lot, I should have $2,000, but yet still I've lost the trade. Go ahead, what you got? Oh, Chanel, what's going on? Long time no see. How you doing?
I'm good. Hey.
That's what's up. Hey, check out the poll that I posted. All right, are you on the computer or are you on your phone?
On my phone.
All right, so yeah, you may have to swipe around and look for the poll questions. There's about 6 of them, so I want you to go ahead and just answer those when you got the time. But I'm kind of explaining the last one right now, and again, once you've completed it, just let me know in the chat that you've done so. Okay, but I'm going to mute you just for now. Okay, unless you got anything you want to say or anything like you want to cover today as well.
Who, me? I'm sorry. I didn't even know I was on the mic.
It's all
I'm
good.
sorry.
It's all good. Go ahead. So did you have anything or what?
No. I'm just a visitor. I'm just spectating.
All right, cool. So all right, you're raising your hand. I think you're just checking out the button, so I'll let you do that. But guys, the next thing in line on that is kind of down the middle, right? Waiting for setups and marking up the charts. So who said marking up the chart? I can't see it right now, but who said marking up the chart?
I did, Lisa.
Okay, so what do you find? What's the hardest part of marking up the chart? Like, where do you find that difficulty at?
Probably more of the confidence of just knowing that I am making the right marks. I think I've lacked that confidence in the past. I'm getting better at it, Bain. But like, we were talking about SPY and maybe the correlation with Dixie and some of these where, if it makes the new high, am I going to wait for it to have to pull back? You know, there's just areas where I guess I'm just new enough. I'm not confident yet.
Okay, and I completely understand that. Okay, so
Okay.
I'm gonna touch on that for you today, and
Okay.
hopefully we can get you to have some confidence and at least being able to identify, you know, good levels of support, good levels of
Right.
resistance, the demand, and just, you know, break down that whole concept so you have an idea. And of course, you know, this is recorded, so you can review this a couple of, you know, however many times you need to like make that light bulb come on, because that is critical. Okay,
Yeah.
you know, being able to find the trend, you know, we can easily pull up the charts and we can see, okay, you know, something's going up or down or what have you, but it's always difficult after that, right? Because now you found the trend, but now how do you know that that was a good support area to buy from? How do you know that was a good resistance area to sell from, et cetera, et cetera? So we will definitely touch on that today for you. Yeah, he's on his phone, Martez. So guys, anybody who was on their phone, however you guys were able to get to the poll, let Wayne know so that he can find it. All right, so who is being disciplined? Who said the hardest part was being disciplined? Who's that?
That was me.
All right, Joan, when you say discipline, okay, what's your actual, you know, definition of that? You know, where's your discipline lacking? Is it, you know, showing up every day, or is it making sure you don't over leverage, or where, you know what I mean? Because there's different levels of, or categories, if you will, of discipline. So where's your discipline lie?
I mean, it is showing up every day. You know, it's not always easy for me. Like I told you, how I'm trying to transition into more swing trading
Right?
as opposed to day trading.
Mhm.
It's just following the same set of rules. I think that's my main thing. Is just doing the same thing when I do go into trade, just following the same exact rules. I'll kind of be over here and I'll be over there. I'll look at this and do one thing on this pair and then do something else on another pair, and
So
just trying to follow the same rules.
So you're finding, do you find yourself going from swing trader to day trader from time to time? Is that
Yeah,
like
because
kind of
I'll
where it
see
is?
I'll see something. I'm like, oh well, let me just change this to a day trade.
Mhm.
Exactly. What I'm supposed to be doing is sticking to swing, but I'll go back and forth.
That is huge. Okay, I'm going to tell you right now, because when I learned about swing trading, okay, and that's where I made a lot of money. Okay, I'm gonna just put that out there. But when I learned about swing trading, it freed me because of my work situation, just like you. And I realized that not only did I have to worry less, right, but I started to realize like other little things, like I just got my life back, right? You know what I mean? I was able to just go and do and you know, be able to enjoy life to a degree where I wasn't before with day trading. With day trading, you know, I was always worried about what the move was doing, right? Not saying that I was losing, but I was just always constantly trying to see, because you get to this phase where, you know, you hear all this stuff that I'm teaching about, but you don't really see it play out until you trade, right? So as you're getting into the trade, like once you get into the trade, now you're trying to see how it's going to play out, if it's really going to do what we expect it to do. And that, you know, in that stage, you're just constantly on the chart. But if you work in, you know, a high profile, you know, job, and you got a high position, or just one that requires your attention very much, it's going to be difficult. All right. So with what you're saying about, you know, switching up or catching yourself switching up, you know, you got to drop, you know, you got to drop the day trade, at least do it for 2 weeks. You know what I mean? Like just dedicate that 2 weeks to doing nothing but swing trading. And I promise you, okay, because this happened to me, and I, you know, this is just, I'm only talking about things that I've actually gone through. You know what I'm saying? I'm not making this up to make it sound good and feel good for you. Like when you do that, you're gonna see that light at the end of the tunnel. I promise you, right? You're gonna say, you know what? I really was doing too much, right? And I caused this confusion. I caused this stress because again, you're trying to make that money, and you the way you're looking at it is the day trades are gonna yield you your return quicker than the swing trades. So that's what keeps gravitating you back to trying to take advantage of those day trading opportunities. And I know I same way. I was the exact same way. But then I gave myself, I had to say to my, you know, it's all these things, guys, we know, right? John, I'm not, you know, I'm preaching to you, but I'm not saying nothing that you don't really know. You know what I'm saying? The difference is always just being disciplined and doing it. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you know, I'm not your dad, and you know, I'm not supposed to be putting you in check and making sure that you do what you say you're going to do. That's for you, right? That's for you to do what you say you're going to do. But, you know, if somebody says, hey, come on, Joan, you know, you're not doing what you're saying you're supposed to do, right? You know, that's just kind of me. Like, you know, I'm saying, hey, you said you wanted to swing, right? And you said that, you know, day trading is difficult for you, but you're letting that temptation of being able to make that money quicker, you know, persuade you to going back and trying to take advantage of some of those day trade setups that you see. So even when when you're doing that, you're starting to see, oh man, I'm kind of, you know, I'm backsliding, or, you know, I'm getting back into that mode that I was trying to get away from. So then, you know, you're spinning your wheels and you're not going to get the money that way. I promise you, because your work is going to it's going to come, it's going to poke his head out, and it's just like, hey, Joan, hey, what about us, right? You got this job to do, you're supposed to submit that report. Now you're lacking on that side, and now that's your source, right? And now you mess up your source, and then now you can't trade at all. Do you understand what I'm saying? So there's something deeper, right? When you're not taking accountability, right, and staying disciplined to what you say you're going to do, then what beats the eye, right? You know what I'm saying? So again, just my advice, right? It's your life, right? It's your world. You can do what you want, but my advice, that's worked for me, okay, is just straight up saying, hey, listen, I'm only going to swing trade for the next 2 weeks, and as difficult as that may be, okay, because you're going to have to, you're going to get rid of your day trade. You're going to have that day trading itch every single day, right? You're going to see, oh man, gold's looking good right now. I need to, boom, 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 right? It's going to keep coming, right? You know what I mean? But if you are able to just really say, you know what? No, I'm going to evaluate it from a swing trader standpoint. And if the trade is there, I'm going to take it. And I'm going to let it, play out for at least 2-3 days, right? That kind of thing. I promise you, you will see a big difference, a big, big difference. The swing trading game, it just changed everything for me. Okay. Of course, I still day trade because I have the, I have the business, I have the Discord going where you guys are, not necessarily wanting to swing, right, per se, right? But those opportunities do come about, and I call them. But we're trying to see what we can get within the day. Okay. And that's, that's where those come from. But, my personal stuff, things that, I don't share and stuff like that, I'm swinging it because I know what it's been doing for me and what it's going to continue doing for me, right? We can evaluate any chart right now, and I can evaluate it from a swing trader standpoint, and you'll see the kind, like how long it took to make some ridiculous money. And most of the time it's within a week. Okay. Monday to Friday, I promise you're going to see something just go kaboom. All right. So please, really, really try your best to dedicate those 2 weeks to just doing nothing but swinging, and you're going to see a huge difference. Okay. Let me see what everybody else, guys, did you guys get a chance to answer the poll? Wayne, did you find it? And Chanel, did you answer? Okay, cool. So let me check it out.
No, I didn't. I'm at work, so it's kind of difficult for me to find it right now, but I'm listening.
Okay, I'm with you, Wayne. No worries, bro. Let me see.
Bain, I agree with what you and Joan were just talking about on swing trading. I think that's where my confidence has lacked most, is because I want to be a swing trader with work, and because it'll go in the wrong direction, even for a small amount of time, I end up cutting it because I lack the confidence. Obviously, I bought it the wrong place, but to see it out, and undoubtedly it goes my direction.
There you have it, folks.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
It's not even coming from me. This is from you guys, right? It's out the horse's mouth, and I'm not calling you a horse, Lisa. But again, it is what it, you guys will see it. All right. And this is, that part of what I was talking about where I say, you hear all this stuff on how to trade, and then you go to trade, but you're trying to see how it plays out. And of course, at that moment in time, all your emotions on, they're all attentive, they all stand at attention. And then they go on the roller coaster ride when your account goes in the red, and then it goes in the blue, and then it goes in the red, and it goes in the blue, and you're just like, oh, I can't take it, right? You know what I mean? It's in red too much. It's in red for too long. I got to get out. But you've already set a stop loss. You understand me? You've already made the determination of this is how much you are willing to lose. So again, guys, it's just, this stuff is really all about standing on what you said, right? Or what you've agreed to, or what, those kind of things. It's not that you are a bad trader. It's not that you didn't win the direction, right? It's not, you don't know what you need to know. It is the psychology, people. That's why it's in that question, number 6, right? It's hey, is it your fear of missing out? Is it your discipline? Are you scared to take the trade? Right? Those things, it's all psychology, guys. Right? So yes, I was breaking the rules left and right, and I had to go back to paper trading. There you go. Right? It'll trading will get you right, guys. Y'all think the military is something? Okay, just try trading. All right, I promise you, it'll slap you around, and do all kind of stuff, right? And you can't even do nothing back to it. Right? Maybe you might be able to push your sergeant or whatever, if you're brave enough. But here, who you going to touch? Right? It's just you getting slapped around constantly, and you get beat down enough, you will absolutely tighten up and you say, okay, you win. All right, what do I got to do? All right, I got to be disciplined. Okay, I'll be disciplined. All right, I got to give it 2 weeks. Okay, I'll give it 2 weeks. Okay, I got to learn how to wait for price to get to my support or resistance zone. Okay, I'll do that. Right? It's just the way, the nature of it. It's the way of the trading world. Right? It's just what it is, guys. But somebody said here, look at the session. So who said look at the session for when it's the best, when you first look for a trade setup, or what's the first thing you look? All right, Chanel. So I need to let you know that's wrong. Okay. But it is not 100% wrong. Okay. Because when you find, let's just say you're looking to make sure that you're in the right session, right? The London or the New York session, right? So you're looking to see, okay, I'm in the London session or I'm in the New York session. So that's great, right? That you're in those sessions. But now, you know, when you go to look for your trade, how do you even know whether or not you should be buying or selling on that pair? And the answer to that, Chanel, is that you need to find what the trend is. Okay. So again, you know, let's just take it to real life for a second, right? If you're at a stadium, okay, and everybody's running out of the stadium, okay, are you going to just go ahead and, you know, go walking into the stadium like it's all good? You understand what I'm saying? No, you're not. You're reading the flow. You understand? And you're going to say, hell no, you know, all these people running out the stadium, you know how we do, right? You know what I'm saying? You're just going to start running. Okay. And you're going to hit it in the same direction that they're going in. You kind of got to look at it the same way on the charts, right? So let's just pull up something real quick and I want to show you. So gold, all right, I'm going to take this indicator off for a second. My man, oh man, I'm forgetting his name. Jared, my man, Jared is, he gave me that indicator and I've been looking at it and it is terrific. But I'm just taking it off for a second, but here it is. I'm going to hide the drawings. Which one is it? All right, boom. Right, and we'll go to the day time frame. Chanel, look at this. Look at this right here. Where are the people running? What direction are they running, Chanel? That's right. They're running up to buy. Absolutely. Right. Now, there's not a whole lot going on that's going to tell you to sell, but ironically enough, when we're on the 1 hour time frame now on gold, we're starting to see the opportunity to sell. Okay, so we're seeing everybody was running up, but now we're starting to see they started to break that structure. All right, and we're having these order blocks being created. We're having these lower highs being created, right? And we're having, like, look, double tops or at least equal highs, et cetera, et cetera. And now gold looks like it's getting ready to fall. So now you're just being able to see what this story tells in real life. Okay, everybody was running out of the stadium, but now whatever happened that made them run out, it's taken care of now. So now everybody's going back into the stadium. So they're going in the opposite direction. They're going back in now. And you're going to be able to identify this and spot all of this. But for you to be able to know if you should be getting in for a buy or a sell, you need to know what the trend is. So I just want to touch on that for you so that you don't get caught up on just determining if you're in the session, right? That's definitely a part of it. So I don't want to take that away from you. You know, you're right in that regards that you want to be in the right session. But for getting into the trade, like knowing if you should be buying or selling, that is all determined based off of if you know what the direction of the trend is. All right. So that's what that is. All right. But let's get into this, guys, because I really want to touch on the things that you guys have mentioned because they are very, very critical. All right. So give me one moment. Let me get this back. All right. So the easiest one that I can get right to is for you, Joan, about the being disciplined. Okay. All I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up a chart. All right. As a matter of fact, give me a pair. You give me a pair, Joan. So maybe something you were looking at last week, maybe you're looking at this week. You give me the pair, pop it in the chat for me.
I could just say let's see, USD JPY.
Okie dokie. All right. All right, here we go. Now this is again the indicator that Jared had and taking that off. But now I'm just going to run through it. All right. I'm not going to really ask you to analyze this. I'm going to analyze it for you. And I'm just going to show you how this would have played out for me. Well, actually, you know what? Let's do the best thing. And again, this is the thing that I want you guys to be doing on the weekend. All right. It's just getting into this replay mode and practicing what we're learning. Okay. So that you guys can start to build that confidence, because whatever you're doing in this replay mode, nothing's going to be different when it's live, right? When things are ready to go and rock and roll, you're just carrying it right over, right? And everything still applies. Everything's still the same. All right, so I'm on the monthly time frame. All right, I'm going to put my replay thing and I'm closing my eyes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, I hit something. I'm going to open my eyes. Okay, so here I am. Man, it looks like it's nothing here. All right, so I may not have too much to go off of, but I'm going to try. All right, so here, all right, on the monthly. So follow me, Joan. All right, I do see price rising. Okay, that's what I see right now. Right. So I also see when I look left here, okay, I see that we've broken a high point right there. All right, so this is what I call break of structure. All right. Oh, hold on. Maybe it won't let me do it in replay mode. I'm not sure, but hold on. I got to know all the time frames. Let's see. Will it? Okay, I don't know what that's about. All right, but I'm just going to leave it. I'll just color it for green. All right, I have a break of structure right here, guys. What this means, okay, so you guys know, is that price was all at this level right here, okay? But as we started rising up and we pulled back, this big candle broke above that level. All right. So that is a break of structure, guys. All right. Where we were making, this was the high. We ended up making a equal high. But now with that break, we went on to make this higher high up here. So the structure was, high, low, high. Okay. So with that, with that previous high, we broke it right here off that candle. Right. So that's where we were. Right now, hold on 1 second. Let me get this back to green. All right, boom, we had that break of structure. So right here, guys, this is very, very, very critical. All right. Once you have a break of structure, right, there was something that initiated that break of structure, right? Where did all these bulls come from, right? How did they end up breaking structure? So what we're needing to do is find the area of of the beginning of the move, right? And so I can't see that here on this monthly time frame. So I'm going to drop down to the weekly time frame. All right. And now here's that break right here. Okay. And now here is the last bear candle before the push up. All right, guys. So I'm going to mark that. And Lisa, this is a part for you as well. But again, I'm going to still do a segment for you where, we really go over just support and resistance, and then we'll double back to what I'm doing right now. All right. But here, this is, I'm highlighting the whole bear candle from the wick of it to the bottom of the wick. Of course, I can fine tune it just a bit, get it right on there. Right. Boom. Do it right on there. But this is my, let me see if it'll do it here. This is my demand, my buyer's order block. Okay, boom. All right. So that candle is, again, the last bear candle before the move up, because I was trying to find the originating area of where the bulls came in to break that structure. And I found it with this candle. Again, we could have also gone with this candle right here, right? That is the last bear candle before this major push up. All right. But this is one that is just more recent that I can go by, because again, if we're going to fall, right, we're going to get here first before we get down here. All right. So guys, always, remember, those little keys. Okay. But here it is, Joan, right? I've determined what the trend is on the monthly, right? Uptrend. I've determined that I want to be looking for buys. Okay. So what I did was I marked my support, because this is a resistance area, right? But then when it breaks above, it's support. You with me? All right. And it broke the structure to the upside. So again, okay, we know that once we break, price normally wants to pull back. Okay. You guys have to remember that. All right. All these things are key, major key. All right. So we got the break, and I found out where the move originated from. I highlighted it as my order block. It could be support as well, right? But just the reason why I'm saying order block is because it was the last bear candle before the push up. Again, this may not, I can have it as support, and I may not have the last bear candle, right, completely highlighted, right? I could have my support like this, right? Doesn't that still look like support to you guys? Right? It's right here. All prices acting as support, right? Not breaking below it. But that's not what I want. I want the order block. All right, because this tells me all the bulls are sitting here. Now we get the push up, we get the pullback right to the order block, we get a bullish engulfing candle, and then price takes off, making a new higher high. Guess what? Now, because I'm not even going down to the lower time frame yet, Joan, I still got some adjusting to do here from what I see. So we broke this level. Now, can you see that? Are you with me? Right? That was our high. And now from when we came back and tested that order block, we broke it. We broke above that high. So again, this was the originating move. Now I can adjust it. Now I can leave it, or I can adjust it. Well, I'm gonna adjust it. Here is that bear candle right there. Right, that last bear candle. I got the whole thing. Let me zoom this in some more. All right, there it is before the big push up that caused the break of structure, breaking that high, that previous high. So now we got a new high up here. But what did I tell you guys? When we break above, when we break structure, we're gonna get some sort of pullback. And guess what? We got it again. We got the pullback again right into the same order block. And then what happened? We took off again. Guys, I'm telling you, right? Listen to me right now, John. Listen, the second move, because you had the structure break from previously, and you had your zone, right? And then it came to that zone, and it gave you your bullish engulfing candle. So this was your entry from the second time around, right? And then you would have made all of this. Let's see how many pips this was, right? Boom, up to the high. That was 585 pips. Now it took 56 days, but let's bring it down some, right? Let's just go to about right here. We didn't even break any highs yet, right? But this is 262 pips, and this happened in 2 weeks. Joan, this is almost $3,000 on a standard lot in 2 weeks. Some people don't, and I'm not knocking nobody, right? But some people don't make $3,000 in a month. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? So you're waiting on your check to come in for 2 weeks from your job, but guess what? You just got paid by Forex for 2 weeks, worth of pay, right? Almost, or whatever, right? But you only did one trade. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, you've been chilling and relaxing for 14 days while your money just went up. And to be honest with you, sometimes you will forget that you're in the trade. Just, it just depending on how life goes, right? And then here it is, you get another, you stretch up a little bit more. So, we were here, right? But then we come to right here. So in a month, you made $3,000. And I'm telling you, once you make the $3,000, the $4,000, the $5,000, you don't have to take out smaller lot sizes anymore. Now you can take out bigger lot sizes and you can catch a smaller run. You don't need this big time run. You can catch from right here to about right here. That's 100 pips right there. And it took 7 days, right? But you took out, instead of taking out a standard lot, you took out 5 standard lots because you got the capital now from your previous 14-day trade that you made about 3 or 4 bands on. So now you're playing with house money. Okay. I'm telling you how it goes. So now you're playing with house money. So now you go ahead and you see the setup, it's nice, everything checked off. Now you put in that 5 standard lots. So you're making not $10 per pip, you're making $50 per pip. So what's 50 times 100 pips? There you go. $5,000. $5,000 in 7 days. Joan, please, okay? Give yourself 2 weeks. See what the possibilities are. But we're gonna play this out. I'm gonna keep going until I can get into a trade. So we missed it, right? Came back to the order block, gave us what we need to see. It's taking off. So now I'm just gonna let the let the trade start playing out some more. I'm gonna be looking for my buying opportunity. All right. Now I'm looking for gaps. I don't see any. Okay, because we've already taken out the order block, right? We've already hit the order block rather, and then we took off. So now I'm gonna see if we break above the high, et cetera, et cetera. I'm just gonna see what happens, and I'm gonna play it accordingly. All right. So follow me. Give me 1 second. All right, here we go. Going next. All right. Boom, 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 boom. All right, I see a gap. All right, this candle and this candle, they have a gap. I'm going to go ahead and put in that gap. Okay, so again, Lisa, you're hearing about fair value gaps and all those things in the realm of smart money concepts, et cetera, et cetera. But it's just a gap. Okay, and whether or not you call it fair value gap or snag a tooth gap, I don't care, right? It doesn't matter. It's just if you can identify the gap, all you really need to know is that this is an area that you may potentially want to look to buy from. That's all that really means. I'm telling you, at the end of the day, guys, this stuff gets simpler and simpler and simpler, but you got to go through it to know that it's like that. Okay. So here it is. Yep.
Can I say something?
Absolutely.
You're doing the order block and stuff, but to make it simple, like when you simplify for me, that ain't nothing but a V.
There you go. Exactly, bro. Exactly. And I keep telling you guys, like, and again, Lisa, this is touching back on, just what we were talking about earlier. You're going to be learning so much. And then the time that it takes people to get over that hill with Forex is exactly that. You guys are learning everything at one time. And then with all of that learning, you're starting to filter out what you did not really need, or what, this and this, it meant the same thing. Oh shit. Well, damn, I just spent all that time trying to, figure out if there was a difference, and there was no difference. Oh my goodness, I could have been making money, right? That's the whole hold up where, the people who learn it on their own, like when you guys don't have the mentors and you don't have the people to follow and stuff like this, the reason why it takes so long is that because you're learning everything, and then you're not just learning how things go and what things mean and blah, blah, blah. You're also learning what you don't need. Nobody talks about that because it's a hidden lesson. Okay. Gurus, aren't, they're at the level of teaching you guys how to make the money now. They're past what they went through in regards of filtering out all the BS. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's not a hot topic, if you will, right? Nobody wants to know, oh, how do you filter out the BS? Everybody wants to know, when do I get into a trade? How do I make this money? Right? Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? But again, guys, great point. Great point.
And yeah, they make it so complicated where you go back. If you can go back to them videos you made a few weeks ago where you did that telling about it, it's all these numbers swing lower highs. They the high lows, Mm-hmm. Run, pull back. If you do that, that's all it is.
Yeah.
Pull, and you break it down so simple that you don't have to even put that order block there. It's just really just
after a while, guys, because I forgot who it was that said they had difficulty marking up the chart. I think it was Lisa, but yeah, Lisa, after a while, you won't even be drawing out these zones, right? You'll just do it for the aesthetics of it all, right? But you'll see that gap there, right? And you may just put something, like you may just put a line, you may just put a mark, you may not even like draw out all the squares and make it look all pretty and all that stuff, because you're gonna be able to eyeball it. You're gonna be able to see it. It's the matrix. The code is just gonna start showing to you, and you're gonna start bending bullets like I'm bending bullets, right? And we're just gonna be tearing up the matrix, pulling everybody out. All right, Lisa, go get your kids, go get your cousins, your aunties, go get them all out the matrix, because that's what I'm doing. I'm getting my whole family out the matrix. Like, guys, y'all work hard. Let me show y'all something real quick. Let me show y'all something. Y'all might not believe in it, and y'all might have y'all doubts and whatnot, but here it is. I'm getting to it. So you want a piece of this? Come join me, right? Eventually they will come around, right? Especially when the money start rolling in. But it is what it is. You may not have to fight that battle with your family and your friends, right? You might show them one time and they like, oh, I'm in. You know what I'm saying? Because they know what it's like out there, guys. It's hard out there, guys. I don't have to say this to y'all. Y'all know it's hard. Okay. So get this stuff and try and change stuff up, guys, because that's what I'm gonna do. Y'all know I'm not playing no games. No games. All right, but here it is. I see the gap. All right, and we're almost getting ready to break the structure. I'm just gonna put a little support line or resistance line really right there. All right, the green is throwing it off, but it's resistance. All right, and I'm just gonna see what happens now. Also, all right, actually, let me just go forward. All right, John, here we go. All right, boom, boom. Okay, so now that we're in my fair value gap, right? I'm going to go down to the lower time frame now because I'm now at a zone again, just like one of the poll questions that we had. Where do we look to buy from? Our support zone. This gap is it's a gap to the upside. All right, so it's showing that there was a shift in demand, a high shift. That's what created the gap where these two candles don't share price and you end up getting the gap. So now I'm going down to the daily. All right, and boom, this is what I see. So I'm at my fair value gap, right? And guess what, Joan? We went as a day trader. I'm sorry, as a swing trader, you analyze, you find the trend on the monthly, you confirm the trend on the weekly, and you pull the trigger on the daily. So right now I'm on the time frame that I want to be looking to enter the trade anyway. So now I'm at support, but do I just buy blindly at support? No, I don't. I need to see the bull show up. This is a bear candle. We came from up here at this high. This was resistance. We rejected it and we fell down. So now I have to be very careful about just blindly buying from support when I don't see any bears. I'm sorry, bulls. Okay, so let's go. Boom, I see rejection, but the candle is so far, and this may not be the close of it. I just hit it one time, but the candle is not, it's not more significant than the previous one. Do you understand what I'm saying? This candle is not engulfing this candle. So there's not enough bullish pressure that's going to convince me that we're going higher. All right, but let's go some more. All right, now there it is. There's my candle right there. Engulfing, not really engulfing because it didn't like start, down here or anything like that, but engulfing for the fact that the body of it is just simply bigger. And then we open higher and we closed higher, right with the rejection from my fair value gap, my gap. I'm ready to rock and roll. Joan, here we go. Right, long position right here. And again, it's so easy to think too much, right? You say, oh man, I don't know, because it's at resistance now, right? It's at resistance. It can come back down and come, and break through this. Of course it can. Price can do whatever it wants to do. But how many times are you going to take yourself or not put yourself in position to take advantage of a opportunity? You just said one side of the story. One side of the story is that it can hit resistance, fall down a little bit. But what's the other side of the story? The other side of the story is it can break resistance and take off to the moon.
And that's exactly how I look at it. I look at that line and I think, oh no, don't take it.
Well,
that's exactly what I do.
Here we go. Let's see what happens.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
I would go cause, and I might be wrong too. The candle closed above the last wick. You see that wick before the candle before that?
This one?
Yeah, it closed above that.
Right.
It closed above full candle close. It closed.
Exactly.
So that's another confirmation. That's price action there. That's what I'm learning.
Here we go. Here we go. So I'm getting my 1 and 2. Boom. There it is. Now on the dollar JPY, this is 230 pips. All right. And this is 115 pips. All right. So let me just open this up a little bit. All right. Now, again, I'm behind this fair value gap. Again, I can go like this, right? Put it right behind the zone. I can put it right behind the wicks. I can do whatever I want to do with my stop loss. You guys are going to determine how you want to go about it. You understand me? But for now, I'm going to just put it back here. Now, do I see any, like I'm looking below it, right? And I'm saying, okay, well, here again is a bit of a, like this candle right here. This is the beginning of that push up, right? Or at least for this little bit of consolidation that it had, right? So that's that last bear candle right there. And then here's our bullish hammer candle that, made price rise up. But I'm not too concerned about it, okay? Because it's pretty close to here. But if I wanted, if I was concerned about it, then I'll put my stop loss back here. So here it is. You're risking 227 pips and you are automatically in your head, John. You're like, oh man, I'm taking out a standard lot. That's $2,000. I don't want to lose $2,000. I only got $3,000 in my account. Okay, well, clearly, you should know at that point that you're over leveraging. One of the biggest things that everybody voted on the poll, they overlap. They notice they over leverage. So crank it down. Don't do a standard lot. Do half of it, or do even half of that. You understand what I'm saying? Do two minis. Okay, 2 minis will still give you a good trade. But I'm pretty sure 5. Like if you just cut it in half, right? Because you're taking out a standard lot and you're risking 200 pips, right? So that's $2,000. But then if you take out 5, half of that, which is 5 mini lots, well, then you already know you're risking 500, right? You understand what I'm saying? So out of that 3,000 that you had in your account, if you lose 500, well, you still live to trade another day, right? You know what I'm saying? It's a fraction of your account being blown. That's not significantly high as it would be if you took out the standard, right? Losing that $2,000 and you only got $3,000 in there, or really it's $1,000, sorry. But losing that, it's more. But anyway, here we go. So I'm gonna put it right here, right below the fair value gap, right? And let me push this up just a little bit more. Another thing that you guys can do, again, a lot of times I just go, 1 and 2, but you can zoom out. And all right, I don't even see another previous high, that I can, set my take profit to. So I don't even see it looking left. So the sky is the limit, pretty much. All right. But here we go. We're gonna rock and roll. Now this is what everybody. I'm telling you, even when I begin to say to myself, I'm gonna swing because this is 200. It's over 100 pips. So guys, we're trying to make the money. So again, it's causing you to take out the bigger lot sizes, right? But then you're not calculating. You're not doing the math, basic math, right? You take out a micro, right? We're looking at what, $12. You take out a mini, we're looking at $121, and you take out a standard, we're looking at $1,200, right? You just do simple math to know whether or not if you lose this, it's going to be a significant blow or impact to your balance. And if it is, don't take it. It's that simple, right? And if it's not, take it. It's that simple, all right? But enough preaching. Here we go, guys, all right? So now I'm just going to hit play and let it rock and roll. Oh, my goodness. Oh, wait, let me just keep going. Let me see. All right, so then it hit my stop loss down here. But look at this. Look at this, John, all right? Let's take a look. How many pips where was it to almost hitting our take profit? I can tell you right now. So this is 124.12, and our take profit was up here at 124.23. So just a few pips, Joan. Just a few pips. But peep game, you already know this is where you got in. We're on the daily chart. Okay, so you got in on Monday. Here's Tuesday. Here's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Big push up on Thursday. Joan, watch. Let's do the math. Right here, entry, and here is where we were. All right, it's saying 5 days, but I guess it's just counting this one. Or at least I think I pushed it back a little bit. But anyways, 4 or 5 days, 100 pips, right? And a standard lot, that's 1,000. You just made $1,000 in 4 days. Do you understand what I'm saying, Joan? And this is not even the icing on the cake. Really, that's just the money that you made quickly, within those 5 days. All right, and then taking it all the way up. Here it is. It's 15 days. Joan, I'm telling you, every time you get a paycheck from your job, you will be getting a paycheck from Forex. 240 pips, standard lot, $2,400. In 15 days, really, it's probably 14 days, but even more important, okay, in about 3 days, right, you pushed up to 100 pips. So now you completely get rid of your risk. You can, hold on 1 second, guys, hold on. All right, I'm back, guys, sorry about that. So the more important part of it, because this is what you worry about right here, right, we worry about that big risk that we're taking. The more important part is 3 days later, you push up, guess what? Go ahead and lock in those profits. It is a risk-free trade. And Joan, not only is it a risk-free trade, but the next day, you go and lock in more profits. The next day, you go and lock in more profits. The next day, you go and lock in more profits. And then eventually, you'll get to the point where it stomps you out, but you've collected all your money. And you never saw any of this. Do you understand what I'm saying? And you'll probably be able to even come back to this, reevaluate it for a breaking structure, giving you your zone. Here's your sell order block. Guess what? So it broke the structure. It pulled back. There's your rejection. Here's your bear candle to take the sell. And voila. Joan, listen to me. Okay, please, pretty please, be disciplined on your 2 weeks. Take just 1 to 2 trades. You don't even need more than 2. I'm being real with you. You don't need more than 2. If you got a good setup, if you see something that pans out, right, you're doing your checklist. Okay, I recognize the trend. All right, I recognize the market structure. It's back into my order block or my fair value gap or my support area. The bulls showed up, right, and you put your long position to a long. You see how much you're risking or where you got to put your stop loss. You see how much that is. You determine the right lot size. And you have your take profit set. Also, pull the trigger, leave it alone. Give it. I'll say check on it every 2 to 3 days, right? You can do that. You can do that much, but give it give it that week, and you'll see, and you'll be like, man, I'm about to kill it. You're gonna see it's the idea of working your job is gonna get faint and faint. It's gonna get smaller and smaller and smaller. I promise you. Okay, you're gonna start questioning whether or not you really love your job as much as you think you do, right? If it's really, if you got that passion for it, because again, some jobs are like your passion, you know what I'm saying? And it's cool. You feel me? But then most of us, we're working jobs that we don't really want to work. We just got to make the money. You understand what I'm saying? Guys, I travel to the Everglades. I have a 2-hour drive every morning and a 2-hour drive back. Y'all think I want to do that? Do y'all really think I want to do that for the rest of my life until I retire and then I'm old and gray and I can't move? No, hell no. That's not what I want to do. All right. So trust and believe me, Joan, this will change everything. But there you have it. We did this, this is live, for lack of, it actually being live, right? But this is exactly how it'll be when it was live. And you're not changing anything. You feel me? So there you go. Right. Any questions around that, Joan? Anything you got that, we may have pointed out that, you just want to ask about or just comment on?
No questions, but this definitely encourages me. So
For sure.
I'm gonna listen to you, Bain. I am.
And you listen to you. Okay. You with me? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's you. You know what you're doing, right? Because you're able to spot your mistakes. So you know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't have been able to spot your mistakes without you telling me. You feel me? Like, you know what's going on. Just make that adjustment. That's all you got to do. Keep it real with yourself and say, you know what, I'm gonna just be disciplined and I'm gonna see how this works out. because now you're gonna. This is again one of the things I'm gonna preach forever, guys. When you do what you say you're gonna do, the proof is in the pudding at that point. You understand what I'm saying? It's always when you don't do what you say you're gonna do, you don't know what it's gonna be like. That's what it's always like, right? We all say, hey, we're gonna get up, we're gonna work out, we're gonna do this and do that, but you don't do it, and you still got the issues that you wanted to get away from. Well, who are you gonna blame? You're gonna blame Bain? Hey, Bain, it's your fault, man. You ain't wake me up. You ain't tell me to go and do that. No. Gotta look in the mirror. All right. So again, I do appreciate you, taking my advice, but take your advice too. To take what you're telling yourself and really run with it. Right. You give it the time, you give it the discipline, and you keep it, in that dedicated, mind state. You finna be killing it. Okay. You guys, y'all know I'm here for y'all, man. Y'all better reach out and say, hey, I see something. What you think? I'll be like, hey, that thing looks serious. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe I don't really quite like it. That don't mean, you guys can't take it. Right. You might say, okay, man, I see what you're saying, but I still like it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna go ahead and take it. But there you have it. All right. So
Hey, Bain, how you work on being a patient trader to let something like that play out? I know I'm good at scalping, but how can you? I don't got good at scalping, and I know that. But how can you just? I see the play, and I see like when I see that candle close over that week, I know I can go long right then and there. I know it in my mind. But how do you keep the patience to let a trade like that play out? To get the maximum. I see when you say take profits at, but me being impatient and a little erratic, when I get a little bit of money, I want to take it. It's just amazing. I need something to keep me in a trade.
I got you. Watch this, Luther. I'm gonna take it X-rated for a second here, guys. All right, fellas, what are we the most patient for? Y'all ain't gotta answer that, but y'all already know the answer. Okay, what are we patient for? Right? What will we wait a lifetime for almost, right? If they promised it to us. Okay. So let me give you a scenario. I'm chilling and the wife calls me up. She say, hey boy, when I get home, I'm about to put it on you. Right? Okay, I hear you. Now you talking, she talking all this talk, right? And she far away. Right? Now, of course, I might be tired, right? I can go to sleep because I'm tired. But I'm so anticipating, what she's gonna do when she gets here. That's what keeps me waiting, bro. So it's the reward. All right. It's the reward that keeps me patient. You with me? So look at the chart like it's the missus coming to give you the business. You understand what I'm saying? How much would you wait for your missus to give you the business? Right? My girl could have came the next day. I would have still been waiting. Do you understand what I'm saying? She could have came next week. I would have still been waiting. The moment she walked in the door, I'd be like, man, I waited a week, boy. You better do something. Right? You better do something spectacular. Bro, I look at the reward, bro. I look at the reward, period. And every time I think about if this goes in my favor, what would that look like? I've already done the numbers. I know if it hits that 300 pips, right? Depending on the lot size I take out, it might be 3 bands. It might be 6 bands. It might be 9 bands. It might be 12. Bro, I already work harder and I'm more patient at my job dealing with, certain people, right? You understand me? Certain situations. I'm super patient with that. And I don't make nowhere near that much. Do you understand what I'm saying? So why can't I be patient with the opportunity for me to make about 12 bands in about 2 weeks? Bro, I'm looking at the reward constantly, right? I'm looking at every way to psych myself out in that mind state. I'm looking at, oh man, if this works out, I'm gonna retire. I'm gonna get my kids straight. I'm gonna take care of those bills and these issues. And I'm gonna go, how many people, next to my place where I live, they had a major fire, a major fire in some apartment complexes. And when I went by to go check it out, because there's smoke all in the sky and everything like that, went by to go check it out. Everybody is out, right? All the people are out on the street, and you can see the worriness in their face and everything like that. Well, where are they gonna go now? Imagine your place just catching on fire right now because not due to you, but because somebody left the stove on in their apartment, right? And now everybody in that complex apartment building has burnt down. And now, you got your kids, you got everything up in there, all your important stuff. How do you rebound? How do you bounce back, right? Well, you got family that stay down here. Can you stay with them, or are you going to be out, on the street? Who knows? But bro, to be able to even have the ability to go and help an individual in a situation like that, bro, those are the things that I think about. You understand what I'm saying? Like I'm bigger than the money, bro. You understand me? Because I just know everybody know what it's like to have some sort of struggle. You feel me? And then to have certain people just come in your life and be able to make that burden lighter. You understand what I'm saying? And those people usually are like blessings to you. You never forget them, right? You know what I'm saying? You'll do almost anything for them. The list goes on. But I'm always on that tip, bro, where the money that I'm making is bigger than the money that I'm making. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm not here to buy the Bentleys and do all of that, bro. I'm here to set my family up so they ain't gotta have some boss tell them, hey, you want to go on vacation? You can't. You need to work overtime today because such and such left out, and we need to take out the trash and mop up the vomit and all that stuff. Or you doing all this hard work. You've created some system. You created something for the company that helped them make more money, but they ain't give you a raise. Ain't no, bro. I'm tired of that, man. Y'all know what time it is. Y'all know how the matrix go. Y'all know what it is. I don't want no part of that, guys. I'm tired. I work too hard. I put in my time, and I see what it's going to be and what it's been for everybody. Right? We spin our wheels. We get old, and then we barely have anything to really enjoy life. That's not what I want. Right? You feel me? I want to take care of my family right off the bat, right? And then I want to be able to help others when I can. And that's the other little driving factor of helping me be patient. You understand what I'm saying? Those things, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's not the money, man.
And Bang, and I know I would not be a complete trader until I put on that trade and put that money up and say,
You got to, man.
I know that's the only thing I'm missing. The scalping is great. I'm making a little money on a custom my day to have. But I know I would not be that complete trader until I do the whole process I can do monthly, weekly, daily, get in on a small time trade and put my stop loss and put my target and win, lose, or draw. And I have not done that yet, bro. I gotta be honest. I not let me do it, and I haven't done it. And that's one of the most disappointing things that I got. You got to do it, and you don't want to take that loss. But like you say, what if I win? What if I get? You know what I'm saying? I keep telling them, you got to do it.
Oh yeah, listen, man. I told you before, that was a hard bridge for me to cross. But once I crossed it, bro, and I was the same way. Just kept delaying it because I kept standing on one side of the track, just saying, oh, this is a whole lot that I'm risking. I don't want to lose that money. I never looked at the other side until one day, again, bro. It's like everybody have their time. You know what I'm saying? That light bulb is going to come on to you one day, and you're going to do exactly what you're saying. You're going to get into that trade, and you're going to leave it alone. You're going to let it play out. It's going to, like you said, win, lose, draw, whatever the case. It's going to be what it is. But like no effort on your part. The chart is going to do its thing, and it's going to play out however it's going to play out. And when you see the first time, and again, Joan, this goes for you. The first time you run up about 200 to 300 pips in a matter of 2 to 3 days, that's all you're going to need. That's all you're gonna need, and you ain't gonna never, like, you ain't even gonna want to doubt it anymore. Now you're gonna be looking at the possibilities, because before you were that whole it could do the negative thing. That was capturing that had you by by the balls, right? You couldn't think of anything else. But once you win it, guys, I promise you, that's all you're gonna be thinking about. Yes, boo boo. Okay, it's okay, it's all right. Hold on 1 second, guys. Oh, boo boo. All right, guys, I'm back. So yeah, and that's that. All right, let me get to so over leveraging. I'm gonna touch on that. Actually, no, Lisa, I'm gonna do you now for marking up the charts. All right, and we're gonna go with the same pair, the UJ. All right. Are we out of replay mode? Yes, we are. All right, so watch this. We'll go to the monthly, and again, I highly recommend you do this as well. All right. Here's all the time frames. All right here: monthly, weekly, daily, 4 hour. You don't necessarily need the 2 hour. I have it there. 1 hour, 30, 15, 5, 1. All right. So you can, just take that screenshot or, just write it down or whatever, and make sure you have those times set. So now if you guys don't know how to get it to look like this, right, all it really is, because sometimes it just comes with its own preset time frames, right? You just hit that arrow next to it, and then you find the time frame that you need, right? And there, they have them categorized: minutes, hours, days, etc. Right? So you just put a star, right? Put a star next to those, and then they will pop up and show in the right order on your toolbar. All right. But then there's also a way to custom, right? So you can come down here, and maybe you want to look at a 2-minute chart, right? Is what it is, right? Whatever you want, you can type it in here, and then you can add it, and then you can favorite it, and it'll show on that toolbar as well. All right. But right off the bat, let me see. I be trying to juggle my time between making soap and studying the market. It just always seems impossible. So I made my spring soap ahead of schedule now, and I can devote my time to trading. Yo, kudos, big time kudos to you, Chanel. Those are the things that are sacrifices that people don't, again, it's just not talked about. All right. You understand me? But that's the actions of a person who wants to win, right? That's the actions of a person who wants to have success. So I commend you big time for doing that. And know that those kind of things are the kind of things that will make you a winner. You understand what I'm saying? Because people make excuses, right? And I'm just being real, right? Everybody says they want to do something, but nobody wants to do what it takes to get it done. And you're doing what it takes to get it done. So hats off, big time. And I'm giving you a round of applause, big time for that, because that is huge. So keep going, big time. You're absolutely welcome. But yeah, that's what it takes. And again, just a little bit of, going over, like, how I was in the replay mode, just going over the stuff that you learned, marking it up, being patient, waiting for it to get, to the zone, waiting for the bulls or bears to show up, setting your position, and then letting it do its thing. You do it enough times, guys, you will see. You will really, really see. Okay. But you got it. So Lisa, your turn. And again, I'm going to go here from the monthly time frame. The reason why we go to the higher time frame, Lisa, is because price is easier to vision or look at in regards to the swing. So you can see a big move up, a big move down, right? You can see a big move up, a big move down. You can see a big move down and a big move up, right? So because on the higher time frame, they're so much easier to see, your zones are so much easier to pick out, right? So we always grab those zones. You know, Luther talked about this earlier, where we're just looking at the V shapes, and then boom, there's your zone, right there, right? And then here is your zone up here, right at the V shape, right at the meat and potatoes of that swing. All right. And that V shape, we also call those swings. So when we're saying swing low, we're talking about this swing low, right? This was a low point where we had a swing. We're talking about a swing high. We're talking about this swing high, because this is where we had a swing where it created a high and then we swung the other way, right? So it's just simple stuff, right? Here's our other swing high up here. So if I'm saying to you guys, hey, you're getting into a buy right here, you need to place your stop loss behind the previous swing low. So you look left, you say, damn, what is he talking about? Where's that swing? Oh, there's that V shape. Okay, there's that swing low. Okay, so he's saying put my stop behind here. Boom, got it. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, guys. All right. And what if I say, or what if you're selling from like right here? You're selling from right here. And I say, hey, you need to put your stop loss behind that previous swing high. Oh, where? Look left. Where's it? Oh, there it is. I see it went up and then it went down, so it created the high. All right, so he must want me to put my stop loss above there. Got it. It's easy, guys. All right. But this is the main reason why we come to the higher time frame, so that we can see those swings and we can easily put our levels. All right. So here it is. I'm taking this rectangle tool and I'm getting ready to find a support and a resistance area. All right, Lisa. So here I see this V shape right here. So this is a high point. And again, you don't need, there are things that qualify a support or resistance area as a valid support or resistance area. And like one of the qualifications is having multiple touches of a zone, right? But sometimes you don't have the multiple touches right away, but that doesn't mean that it's not valid. So please understand that it's just the more qualifications that you have of a particular zone, the more valid it is. Okay. But all you really need is some kind of qualification that will make the zone valid. So if you have the V shape, well, there you go. That's one qualification right there. If you have the multiple touches that you have right here. So that's about, let me get it right. It's about right here. Okay. Boom. We got one touch. We got two touch. We got three touch. So you got three touches. Okay. That's another way that it makes it valid. Okay. What about if it moves drastically away from the zone like it did here? Okay. That's making this zone even more valid. Okay. What if you have where it acted as both support and resistance? Well, over here, same zone. I didn't move it. I just extended it. I didn't move it. Right. I extended it. So over here, it's acting as resistance. Okay. But now all over here, it's acting as support. So it makes this zone even more valid. Are you with me so far, Lisa?
Yes, I'm following. Thank you. This is good.
All right, sweet deal. So here we go. And now, we're looking at just basically finding our support and resistance zone, because like the show that I like, Game of Thrones, this is just a game of zones. It's just a game of zones, guys. We're trading from zone to zone to zone to zone to zone. That's really what we're doing. I know it may seem a little bit more complex than that at times, but honestly, that's all it really is. We're trading from one zone to the next, and then from one zone to the next, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a game of zones. All right. So all we need to do is find our support zone and find our, resistance zone and find our support zone. So where I found my resistance zone, let me just go ahead and put it, I usually leave it neutral color because, it doesn't, you can put it red if you want, right? Just so, you can know that it's resistance or what have you. But, over time, it doesn't really matter what color it is, because by where the candles are in relation to the zone that is support or resistance. So in this case, the candles are below the zone. So that zone is resistance. If I did like this, right? If I did like this, it's red, right? But the candles are above that zone. So this is support. That's just, how it is. So I found my resistance level and now I need to find my support. So with finding support, again, I don't see a V shape like right here, but I do see a level. And how do you see that level, Bain? Because I can look left and I can kind of see like, we had a level right here, right? So, you clearly see the V shape, but then you also see just the candles kind of consolidating right here next to each other, right? So the same way you would like level out your TV, like when you're putting up a flat screen, how you would level out the wall, right? You have a level, right? So levels are two things, right? Don't just get caught in the V's, right? As your levels, okay? Also get caught in the sideways of candles having your levels, okay? If you guys do this,
chopping wood.
exactly, the blocks of wood, absolutely. It's just you chop one, you put it next to, you put them all side by side of each other. That's all it really is. And again, however you gotta get yourself to remember this, do it, right? Just know that we're looking for levels all the time, because that's the meat and potatoes of trading. If you don't know what the level is, you won't know if it's broken, right? You won't know if it's respected, right? You won't know when the bulls come. You won't know. All right. So this is what we need. All right. So there it is, our levels, right? Boom, 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 boom. All right. So I see that, again, that was that level right there. And then look, we broke above that level. So that is my support level. All right. And this, now I'm just going to draw it out. Okay. Now I'm really far back, right? This is 2015, right? I don't need to go that far, but I'm gonna draw the level so you can see the visual. Okay. Here it is, right? There is my support level, and I'll go ahead and make it as such. Okay. Boom. All right. There's support. Okay. In regards to where price is right now. But in the past, it was acting as resistance. So already I have a support level that's already valid, has two qualifications that makes it a very valid support level, right? One, that, we had price move away from it drastically. Two, we had it act as resistance in the past, and now it's acting as support, right? So there it is, valid support level. Okay. Now, would you have seen this, Lisa? Like, would you have, said to yourself, you would have put your support here and you would have put your resistance there?
Yes, I have gotten, now I understand that.
Okay, perfect. So now what I'm going to do, because we're not trading back here, right? All of this is done, right? We're over here. So I don't need this support level to be extended all the way out there. I'm taking up too much real estate on the chart with the drawing. So I'm just going to bring it in to where price happens to be. Boom, much neater. You with me? And now I'm going to go down to the monthly because I've already gotten my my resistance and my support levels. And so now I'm going to be looking in between here. But one thing that when we were in the replay mode and I was doing this for Joan for her swing trade, what we had to determine was what's the trend, right? And we can see that it's up, right? And you can say, okay, it's falling right here. That's true. But in the grand scheme of price, right, we're moving up, okay? So we want to be looking for buys. And how ironic that we're heading towards a support level. Oh my goodness. All right, here we go. So coming down to the weekly, here it is, right? There's your resistance level and there's your support level. Now, again, you can fine tune it just a little more, right? So I don't necessarily need to grab the wick because it's just that one wick. I can visually see that one wick and know that, okay, if I'm going to put my stop loss, I might want to put it above that wick just so I won't get stomped out. But I'm going to adjust my resistance area to take where price actually went and where price actually played around. You with me on that, Lisa? Because again, a lot of people will ask, should I put my zone, covering the wick? It's up to you. You can. Just know that if you're going to sell and you need to place your stop loss, you don't necessarily want to put your stop loss right above the resistance zone with having a wick that's like this, because it showed you in the past that even though it fell down, it wicked up to this high. You understand what I'm saying? Before it fell down. So you're safer with having your stop loss above that wick. You with me? So that you can survive any kind of wickage that it might do before falling. Okay.
Refine it. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Yes.
Absolutely. Good. So you want to refine it and get those candles because this is price action. This is the action that price took on the chart, and it's set in stone. These candles are done, right? That time frame is done. This is, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. And here are the numbers. The numbers are set, right? So okay, yeah, this is the highest price got to. This is the lowest, et cetera, et cetera. You just know by having your zone there. So again, even over here, right? Price is not way over here, so I don't need my zone way out here. I'm going to bring it in. It's about right here, right? It's right, in that area of where price happens to be. Do the same for my support, and I can just bring it like this. Now, here's what you also do, right? As you're going, we were on the monthly before, but we switched over to the weekly. When you come to the weekly, you can still find more zones, okay? You're going to have, look, there's your V shape. You went down, and then you went up, okay? Here, you went down, and then you went up, right? Let's see over here. You don't really see too many V shapes, but you do see like you went up, and then you went down, okay? So you do have some levels here, right? And I'm just going to draw them out. Or before I draw them out, do you see any? Do you see any levels of where I could possibly put a support or resistance level?
I see a support level. If you look left with,
okay. So from where I am, when I go this way, am I going left or you're right?
You're actually good right there with the bottom of those two candles.
Okay, no, but still, because I want you to guide me, so I want to know, like on the chart, like when you see me, when you see me moving like this, am I going to your left or am I going to your right?
You're going to my left.
Okay, so it's my left as well. All right. So whenever you need me to move and you say, hey, go left or go right, I'm going to be going, in that direction. So I can put where you see the zones.
Okay.
All right. So from where I am right now, where should I go?
Go left.
Okay.
Left. All right. Go down, stop. And go down.
Okay.
Right in there.
All right. This is where you want me to put what kind of zone or what?
That would be a support.
Okay. Boom. So I'm going to do it like this. I'm just going to take this, what do you call this again? Ray. It's a horizontal ray. All right, and I'll put it there. Is that where you wanted it?
Yes.
Okay. So now tell me, why did you put it there?
Because we have two candles that have made more of a double bottom at that support, and it bounced off and has gone back up on this last candle that looks more like a little all the way right, the other direction. Yeah, right there. Those two.
Okay. So these two candles are the reason why you put the support level here.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me tell you now, that's not wrong.
Okay.
Okay. But I like that you brought me, because you brought me over here to, we were over here and then you had me come down and then you had me place it. So yes, this is, from where price was, where we set it right here to where, price came right back to it again over here. It's respecting it as support. But this was the main reason why it should have been your support, because you had that little V shape, right? So you had price showing you that it was going down, but then it reversed.
Okay.
You with me?
I am.
So again, this is, little things just to kind of clean up, because you still had it right. You understand me? I don't want you to get that, misconfused, right? It's you have it right, but you need to always know why you have it right. You know what I'm saying? Because with that, it just makes your trading and marking up the charts stronger. Okay.
Okay, now help me just one more minute then, because you're saying the V shape. Now I understand that it's supported, and I always look left and I find out, the candles, and the line would be where I would put it. But what about the V? Is it just because it's made the V shape and that's like from a lower high that made that movement up? Is that why?
That is correct.
Okay.
That is that well, not a lower high, a higher low.
I mean,
Right?
yes,
Yes.
higher, yes.
Right.
Okay.
But you're absolutely correct, because we're not only are those V shapes significant just for being able to spot where you can put support or resistance. Those V shapes, they tell a story in the market structure. You with me? So
Yes.
again, just like you mentioned, we went up, we pulled back, and then we went up again. So that V shape that it created gave you what the continuation was in that market structure of an uptrend. So so you're right, when it did that, when it created that V, it created your higher low. And that's absolutely where you want to buy from. You want to buy from higher lows, and then you want to sell from lower highs, right? So here, that's absolutely correct. So I'm glad you pointed that out, because it's more significant than just the V shape. You understand what I'm saying? It ties into the market structure, which you pointed out. Okay.
Okay.
So
I
now,
had another question.
Yeah.
As we're looking at this, just looking at a weekly, I know we're looking at a weekly, but not knowing what's to the left from the very top. And I'm assuming there's nothing left is what I'm going to assume at this point.
I'm with you on that. Yep.
Okay. So if we're looking at this, and this is from the swing point of, what we've been talking about in my failure to gain confidence, as I'm looking at it, it's actually broke its structure going back down.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That is absolutely. Go ahead.
Yeah. So that's right. Correct.
Yes, it is.
Okay. But what I doubt myself would be, okay, is it finished at the top? I don't know a better word right now. Has it been exhausted, let's say, and now it's going to go back. It may or may not fall through this support area, but am I really looking for buys at this time, or is it going to continue to break structure? That's where I kind of am not sure.
Okay.
Do you understand what I'm asking?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
First thing you always need to do when you're in that state of confusion, or you're not sure what's going to happen, go to the lower time frame.
Okay.
That's number one. Okay. Because as you're seeing, you spotted that it broke structure. So I can tell you right now, there was a trend line right here, and then it broke that. All right. That's a break of structure. And then you got that big candle. But this is on a weekly. This one candle is 5 candles all wrapped into one. Right. You know what I'm saying? So when we go to the lower time frame, we're going to see way more candles where you would have been able to easily identify that break of structure. All right. But because we're at the support level now, and you're asking yourself, how do I know if it's going to break support and continue falling, because that's what it's been doing, or how do I know if it's going to continue rising or stop falling and start to rise, right? How do I know that? So first, drop down to the daily. Okay. That's your next time frame, because now look at what you see from what you didn't see in the weekly. I'm going to just switch this back and forth really quick. We're on the daily, but I'm going to go to the weekly. Weekly, we see the down move, but we don't quite see the actual structure too defined. It's not super defined. You can kind of see it a little bit. You see, okay, that was a high, and then we got lower, and then we got lower, right? You can see it, right? But now watch when we switch over to the daily. Boom, look how beautiful it looks now. You see what I'm saying? And you can see the candles in more detail. All right. So now the reason why you want to see the candles in more detail, because you get to see the structure better. It's more defined. Okay. So now here it is. We have a nice downtrend. Here's where your trend lines come in. Okay. So this is your second thing that you need in your arsenal after you go to the lower time frame. So remember, in these scenarios where you're not sure if it's going to continue falling or start to rise, you need to go to the lower time frame. That's number one, so that you can get to see more details and structure of the candles. Okay. Number two, you need to plot any trend lines that you see. Okay. Because the reason why these trend lines are so important, because they tell you exactly what they did right here. They tell you when you have a break of structure. And meaning the break of structure simply is meaning that we're going from making higher highs and higher lows to now making lower lows and lower highs. So that was in a uptrend. That was our uptrend line. But now what happens if we place a downtrend line? Look at that.
Mhm.
So now if we get this, boom, we get that candle to break that trend line. We pretty much have a break of structure right here. So once that candle is closed, Lisa, what you're looking for is a pullback. And again, you're already seeing that this is the last bear candle right here. So there's your order block, right? So that's the last bear candle before that little push up where it broke out of the trend line. So now you're waiting for the pullback for price to come into this zone, respect it, and then more bulls show up, showing that it no longer wants to make this downtrend structure. Now you put your long position tool on right at the close of the candle. You put your stop loss either behind that order block or preferably, even back here, and you go ahead and you aim for that same resistance area. And that's it. That is absolutely it. Now, guess what? Let's do this because I want to have this for you as well, because that was just one side of it. Because that's if price breaks the trend line and then it starts to go up. Now you're having the confidence of knowing that it's going to continue going up. But what if it doesn't break the trend line, right? This is the whole point of putting the trend line, so you can see that okay, it's respecting the trend line right now, and then price starts to shoot down. Well, then what happens? You get a break of structure right here because this was your low, but now because we've pushed down, you've created a lower low. And now the same concept applies, Lisa. Where was that move? Where did the push down initiate to break that structure? It came from somewhere up in here. All right. So there is your order block. So now you had the break. What do? You're patient. You wait for the retest. Okay. You may get the retest right at the level that it broke, and then you also may get the retest at the order block. So that's the pullback. Now you're waiting for the bears to show up. They show up. Guess what, Lisa? You pull the trigger. Boom. Stop behind the order block. Take profit wherever your 1 or 2 is, and voila, it continues to go. So those are your 2 scenarios each and every time. But you have to place your trend lines, right, to see the break of structure. You also have to place your trend line to see that it's respecting the structure, right? And then once you get your breaks, all right, whether you get the break to the upside, right, of the trend line, or whether you get the break to the downside, breaking the low, we're waiting on pullbacks after the breaks. Guys, I'm going to pop something in the chat for you guys right now that pretty much spells this out, all right? But 1 second. There you go. Take those steps, guys. Take those steps. Screenshot, copy them, put them in your notepad, put them in Google Keep, wherever you need to put them to have them. It's exactly what I'm explaining right now. Guys, you see this? And I'm telling you, you practice this. Practice this. Please give it 1 week of practice. All right? You guys will see this stuff is solid. It's solid. And again, yeah, you may, sometimes, you'll get that pullback, and you see the bears come in, and then it may not drop all the way where you want it to drop. It may come to this order block and then go back and start going back up, right? So it's not all the time that it's going to completely work out in your favor, right? At like 100% to where you want it to go, right? You'll still get something out of it, especially if you locking in your profits and doing all of that, right? You can still make it a winning trade, but it didn't go exactly where you thought it would go, right? That happens, right? The economy doesn't stay still, or economies don't stay still, right? Everything's not static, right? We're at war. Right. Sometimes, new things happen. Oh, Trump got reelected. Right. You know what I'm saying? Oh, this hurricane is coming in, and, it wiped out the whole East Coast. Like, things happen, guys. You understand what I'm saying? You guys have to know how to adjust and take those things, into consideration. Right. They're factors. And those are also, just reasons why. Ziggy, stop. Those are also why trades may not always work out in your favor, but you can't let it discourage you. If you have a solid trading plan and you follow it religiously, that it's solid. So when you lose, when you happen to lose, you also know that, hey, that's the way of it, right? You know what I'm saying? It's not that you're doing something wrong. And that's where people always get caught up. They think because they saw everything, line up correctly, but they still lost the trade, then they don't know what they're doing. So then they just give up and they just like, forget this. This Forex stuff will never work. Guys, you just can't. Okay. You know what I'm saying? You guys with the kids, right? You guys are raising your kids, right? You tell them, hey, don't do this, don't do that, right? There's consequences or whatever the case may be. Majority of the time they listen. Right. But then they're going to have that one time where they don't. Right. But does that mean you weren't raising them right? No. All right. So please keep the strategy that, you've been learning, and, or at least what's been working for you, keep it, and don't get discouraged when you happen to lose. Even if you have back-to-back losses, guys, it happens, man. Right. I had back-to-back losses all week on gold. Right. Lost 3 or 4 times on gold. And now I can see that gold is getting ready to fall. Okay. At least that's what it looks like, right? So by the time I get the break, if I get another break below here, you guys see my alert is already right here. But if I get a break below here, I'm selling gold. It's just that simple, right? You know what I'm saying? I took all my losses, should have went up and went up and went up, but it didn't, right? Or maybe, I probably caught a few pips or whatever, but it just didn't hit my take profit or whatever. So, I'm not crying about that. I'm not saying, oh, I don't know what I'm doing and I shouldn't be doing this, and, forget this. Let me go to crypto, see if that's any different. And you just carry the same mentality over there. And now you're running around like a chicken with your head cut off. and you can't get your footing, you can't get any ground. Guys, discipline, 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 right? Showing up, right? Being a man or a woman of your word, doing what you say you're going to do is going to be all the difference, guys. All the difference. All right. So any questions? And actually, I think I missed one person. Hold on. The over leveraging. So let me touch on this really quick, guys. All right. So we'll go with gold right now. All right, since we're on gold. Actually, I like that UJ chart. All right, here we go. So let's just say we'll go hypothetically and say that price broke out of this triangle. All right, and boom, there it is. All right, and then we'll also say that we got our pullback. Okay, so we came back and we tested. All right, we got our retest, and then of course the bulls came back in, which is what we need. All right, boom, and it did something like this. All right, boom. So now we're ready to buy. All right, so watch this, guys. Now you have $1,000 in your account. You have a leverage of 1 to 500. Okay. Now you put out your loan position tool and you place it here. You set your stop behind the swing low, boom, or we'll just keep it at that, behind the swing low. All right, and now we're going to aim, all right, for our 1 to 2. Here it is. Okay. Now again, $1,000 in your account, guys, and you got 500, 1 to 500 leverage. So technically, I think that's 5,000. I mean 50,000. But hold on, let me just handy dandy. There it is, 50,000. Right. Okay. So you have, I'll leave this up. Right. You got $50,000 that you can get into a trade with. Let's go ahead and do this the right way. All right. So here, right, this is our calculator. This is how we determine how much it's going to cost us to get into a trade. Right, and I popped that in the chat for you guys. I'm sure you have it, but for those who don't, there it is. All right, here's gold. All right, here's our leverage. Right, 1 to 500. Okay, gold is currently at 1926. Let's see if it got that right. What is this? Oh, USD. Oh, I'm tripping. All right, so let me switch that. Sorry, guys. So it's USD JPY. All right, so USD JPY. Boom, there it is. Oh, come on. All right, and leverage 1 to 500. So lots, all right, 1.00. There's your standard lot. All right, it'll cost you $200. Okay, $200 with the leverage of 1 to 500 to get into the USD JPY. All right, so peep. Now, coming back over, all right, this is how you're doing it. So this is going to cost you, a standard lot is going to cost you $200. All right, so that is the margin that it costs, right? Margin is not only cost, but then it's also the amount of money you have left to get into a trade. So you guys will see margin, and then you guys will see free margin when you're looking in your MT4. All right. Margin is what it costs you to get into the trade. Free margin is how much money you have to get into any other trade. All right. So you got $800 left that you can get into any other trade. All right. That's what that's all about. If you guys didn't know that, I'm sure you did, but just want to, clarify. So now, guys, a standard lot on the USD JPY, how much money are you making? You're making $10 per pip. Okay, so we look at this, we look at our loan position tool, and now we're just doing basic math. This is 95 pips, guys. This is 95 pips on, actually, is it 95 pips? Hold on, let me see. We're on a daily. Okay, so it's not 95 pips. So that's 90, 100, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, that's 900 pips. Okay, 900 pips. So here it is, 900 times 10. That's $9,000. Guys, we only have $1,000 in our account. We are over leveraging. Why? Not that we can't take out a standard lot. So please be, let's make that clear. It's not that you can't take out, you don't have enough money to take out a standard lot on the USD JPY. You don't have enough money to survive the trade going against you and hitting your stop loss. That is the definition of over leveraging. You do not have enough money to survive the trade hitting your stop loss with the lot size that you took out. That is over leveraging. So now you know that you're over leveraging. How do you fix it? Or what's the right way of going about it? It's really easy, guys. All it really is understanding how much money you have in your account and then looking at how many pips you're risking and times the lot size that you took out. So if you say to yourself, you're going to take out a standard lot, you know that you're making $10 per pip. So if you're at 900 pips and you do the math, that's $9,000. Automatically, you shouldn't be taking out this trade, right? So out of the $1,000, how much do you want to lose? Let's just take this at a micro lot, okay? So if a standard lot will give you $9,000, A mini lot will give you $900. Okay, so you can't even take out a mini lot because that's too close to blowing your account. One trade losing $900 if you don't survive it? No way. Right? So now you can't even take out the mini. So now you have to work in the world of the micros. Okay, so if you take out a micro, right, then you lose $90, right? And $90 from this, that's nothing, right? You still got what, $910 to work with, right? That's the kind of setup that you want to where you can survive this trade. This trade could take who knows how long because it's taking days, right? It could take a week, it could take 2 weeks, maybe 3, but you don't know. But what you do know is that even if you lose the trade, you only lost a fraction of the amount of money that you had in your account. This is how you guys need to go about this, all right? And it should be, this simple of, just looking at your long or short position tool, looking at the pips that you're risking or, you're trying to make and doing the math. So it's really, you really just got to focus on the stop loss pips, right? So looking at those pips and then doing the math of if you take out a micro, how much would that be at 900 pips, right? If you take out a mini, how much would that be at 900 pips? If you take out a standard, how much would that be at 900 pips? And then you just look at your account and you say, okay, I can't take out the standard because that's $9,000 if it goes against me. I can't take out the mini because that's $900 if it goes against me. But I can take out the micro because that's only $90. And then of course you guys can crank it up even more, right? If a micro is 90, well then 2 micros, right, might be 180, right? So $180, would you be okay with losing that out of the 1,000? You might be, right? So again, guys, simple stuff, right? Simple math in regards to making sure that you don't over leverage. Does anybody have any questions about that? About leverage or over leveraging or being able to calculate to make sure that you're not over leveraging? All right, so everybody's good. Thank you, Chanel. Appreciate that. Well, there we have it, guys. So again, I want to open it up. Any questions, comments, concerns, any pairs you guys want to take a look at, anything whatsoever, please let me know. Very welcome, Lisa. And I'm glad it was, because again, guys, I want you guys to be making that money, right? I love spending time with you guys, but it's really about this is we're trying to get somewhere. All right, we join because we're trying to have some understanding of this market and we're trying to make some money. All right, that's I love the people more, you know what I'm saying, but I'm still I got to get it, you know what I'm saying, and I want you guys to be getting it as well. So when you guys show up here, no, I'm not playing around, right? You know what I'm saying? This ain't no let's just shoot the breeze, right? You guys, I want you guys to know what you need to know so that you can do what you need to do. All right, and that's what it is. But again, any questions, any comments, concerns, any pairs you guys want to review?
Hey, Bain, can I ask you one more question?
Absolutely, bro.
Okay, any pair on a monthly, it's going sideways. It's stacking wood on a monthly, and you go down, it's doing a little something, probably doing the same thing on a weekly, but on the daily, it's probably the long term. Well, let me say it like this: you see the trend on the monthly is down, but on the weekly it's sideways, on the daily it's sideways. And just how do you look at something like that when it's the overall trend from the big time frame from a month sideways, but on the other time frames it's going, I mean, downtrend, but it's sideways on the other time frames. How should I look at that and start plotting the trade, something like that? Wait till it break the range or something like that.
You're already right. You absolutely want to wait until it breaks the range. But here it is. So can you see the chart? Okay. All right. So here's your scenario. You know that you're in a downtrend, but this is from the higher time frame. You can see the downtrend. But as you go to those lower time frames, you're starting to see consolidation. All right. And you're asking yourself, okay, what should you do in this regard? So let me tell you, this is what it's like. All right. So one, let me show you how you have to be looking at the structure. All right. Right here, you see this is a low. Okay. This is a low right here. I'm going to put a line. And what you see is that low, right? This low was broken. Okay. And if you look at the steps that I put in the chat, right, I tell you guys, after you get that break, all right, you need to identify where did that move originate. Okay. Here's where that move originated, somewhere up in here. So boom, I'm going to mark that out. There's my order block. All right. That is my sell order block. All right. That's where all the sellers are that created that break of structure where now we've made a lower low down here. So that was the previous low, but now with the break, we have this lower low. Now with this lower low, we're just consolidating. Okay. And now even with this break, right, we might have a gap somewhere in between here, right? With, 3 candles, 2 candles out of 3 aren't touching. All right. So if we have that gap, we can go ahead and mark that gap out, right? Like this, and we'll go ahead and put it, our gap. All right. So absolutely, bro, you want to stay with the trend. So you got 2 things that can happen from this consolidation. One, it can break out of it and head to your gap. But these are bulls right now. So you don't just sell, this by now. You don't just sell blindly. You wait for the bears to show up. You wait for that rejection. to show you that, man, that's pressure right there. The bears are like, hell no, where y'all going, bulls? Turn around, right? Now the bears show up. If it happens, go ahead and take that trade for a sell. Put your stop above here and make, you know, your take profit wherever you want to make your take profit. That's one scenario, all right? Again, the other scenario is that it could go and hit all the way back up to the order block. This is why you got to be careful, because when it got here, the bears didn't show up yet, right? The bulls kept pushing it, right? So there was no sell. But now it's here at the order block. Now you got your rejection. Now the bears show up. Now it's time to rock and roll, and you're going to make a killing because you're already in a downtrend. So you're getting in from equal lower highs at this point, all right? So you get in, enter, stop loss, take profit right back to the consolidation area where all the nonsense was taking place. Money, bro, absolutely money, all right? So those are some scenarios, but then let's go with the opposite, right? We could absolutely get a break right out of here. Scenarios like these, bro, is when I don't turn into a, you know, I get rid of my being a retest trader. And why? Because it's already going in the direction of the trend. I know a pullback is possible, right? You understand me? But this is already showing you that the sellers have broken this little, you know, consolidate this confusion, right? The sellers are like, all right, now we taking over. Boom, they break out to the downside. So now I know I can take the breakout and just put my stop above the consolidation as if I was doing, you know, as if it was an order block or a gap. And that's how I would play it, bro. I would take that breakout, and I you know, I can get away with maybe putting it, you know, above the structure here, but to be on the safe side, I'll put it above the consolidation, and price will go and do its dance, boom, 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 probably come right up to it, right up to my stop loss, and then go ahead and drop, bro. And then when you look at it, look at how it's just still aligning with the structure. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you can't let consolidation knock you, you know, take you off your rocker in regards to the overall trend. Anytime you have consolidation, guys, it doesn't matter, because we're always trying to catch the trade in the direction of the trend. So please remember that, guys. So if you get the breakout on the upside, you got to know that if you take a buy, right, you're going counter trend. And not only are you going, yes, boo boo, you want to be with me? Okay. Go get your food. So yeah, if you're going against the trend, right, you're going, I mean, if you're going for a buy, you're going counter trend. We're in a downtrend. So you have to know that it could be short-lived. So going up, we got the sell order block where it could be short-lived, and because it could turn around and start falling. You also got the regular order block where it could be short-lived and it'll turn around. Now, does that mean you can't make money buying? No, that doesn't mean that. But you just need to understand that it's not necessarily that this is a reversal, right? This is just a pullback to the overall downtrend. So you're just catching some pips, you know, out of this. And guys, this is really how people are able to take advantage of both the pullback and the run, because they know that what the structure is. Okay, so all you guys got to do is understand structure, and things won't confuse you. You know what I'm saying? But the more you practice it, the more you'll understand it, and that's really what that is. So I hope that helps, bro. I know somebody else was about to ask something or say something. All right, cool. Who else mentioned or was about to say something? When will I do a Fibonacci session? We can do it in the next live. So Tuesday night, come to that live, because that's where we, you know, really want to use Fibonacci anyway, is being able to determine, you know, when a pullback may be over, because that's where we want to, you know, enter a trade. So definitely you'll do it in the next live session on Tuesday. Any other questions, guys? Any other concerns? I'm with you, and I got you. So make sure, you know, again, you know, if life permits, right, you know, show up, and I will definitely dedicate that time to explaining Fibonacci for sure. All right, guys. So again, appreciate you guys rocking with me